think I'm gonna lose 10 pounds this year. You know what? No more junk food. This is the year I'm finally gonna get into shape. Come on, you and I both know neither of those are gonna last more than a month or two. New Year's resolutions kinda suck, and only about 6% of people actually keep them past that first year. I wanna help you become part of that 6%, so I did a little bit of research to better understand what separates those who succeed at keeping their New Year's resolutions and the 94% who don't. So let's start off 2024 with a formula for success. There's records that show from 2000 BC that the Babylonians were even making New Year's resolutions. But if we've been doing this for 4,000 years, why are we so bad at keeping them? Typically, a New Year's resolution is a tradition in which a person resolves to continue good practices, change an undesired trait or behavior, accomplish a personal goal, or otherwise improve their behavior at the beginning of a calendar year. At least that's what Wikipedia tells me. So we already know that most people don't keep up with their New Year's resolutions, but I wanted to dive into a few more statistics to better understand what's going on. Luckily, Forbes Health has already put together some of this information. Through some of their polls, they discovered that the average New Year's resolution lasts a little under 4 months, and only about 6% of respondents stick with their New Year's resolution past a year. And if you're wondering how many resolutions the average person makes, 3 seems to be the soft spot. So if people keep making all of these goals, why aren't they working? It seems to come down to 2 things: unrealistic goals and lack of specificity. Unrealistic includes anything that's overly ambitious, having an all or nothing mentality, or a lack of relevance to your day-to-day. Let's say you want to eat less junk food this year. Now, does that sound pretty realistic if you live in a food desert, you're surrounded by fast food, and if you don't really cook most of your meals? Probably not. I'll get into some more details about that a little later, just stay with me for now. Now, if your goal lacks specificity, that could just mean you don't have any success metrics, something to measure against. You might not have a plan, or the goal might just be too lofty or vague. Think about it this way: if you want to lose 10 pounds, how'd you come up with that number? Is 9.5 okay? Do you even care about the number 10 pounds, or do you just want to look good naked? What does looking good even look like? I think it's safe to say that a lot of people would actually appreciate putting on 10 pounds of muscle rather than losing 10 pounds of arbitrary weight. You're gonna look better, feel better, and probably get whatever that underlying 10-pound arbitrary number is coming from. The other issue with New Year's resolutions is that you're already starting off on a bad foot. Why are you waiting until next week to do something that you can start doing tonight? If you start your goal by already giving yourself excuses and reasons why you can't do the thing that's important to you, you're probably going to end up self-sabotaging down the line. And one more thing to realize is that a lot of times these health-related goals aren't actually the end result. They're the byproduct of a certain lifestyle or habits. Whether you want to lose weight, get fit, eat healthier, think about anyone that you might look up to who already does that. Did they ever stop because they finished or because they won? Probably not. They're just about that life, period. So that's why part of the mentality shift I think you're gonna need if you really wanna take this seriously is about forming habits and having a plan. This is gonna put you on the path towards your goal without actually just concerning yourself with the end result, because you can't really guarantee when the end result will arrive. It might take 2 months, it might take a little longer than a year, but you'll feel a lot better and you're more likely to stay on track if you have some sort of framework to keep you going in the right direction. So enough of me being the life of the party, all this doom and gloom talk. Let's talk about what does work. So a lot of gurus out there will say you need accountability and deadlines. I think what's even more important is specifics that you can measure. So instead of saying, I want to lose 10 pounds, put some specifics behind this. Maybe instead of losing 10 pounds, you want to get your cholesterol to a healthier level at your next checkup. And now that might not sound as glorious as the initial goal, but now we're on track to set up a plan that's more likely to get you there. We already know what helps you with cholesterol. Eating more fiber, exercise, more whole foods, omega-3 fatty acids, etc. So now you have a few metrics that you can track monthly, weekly, daily. It's up to you. I prefer the cold turkey approach. But for those of you who aren't all about 100% diving in right away, focus on improving and adding more of the good behaviors instead of focusing so much on the bad ones. So if your resolution is something like, I want to eat less junk food this year, why don't we shift that over to, I would like to eat more whole foods this year? That way the goal becomes more focused on doing more of the good thing and not really concerning yourself with the other stuff. I know for me, if there is ice cream in the fridge or cookies on the counter, it's a lot harder to pass that up. So just completely avoiding them and finding things to replace them is gonna be the key to success. You can do little things like bringing some fruit to work, leaving it on your counter, so that way anytime you do get a little bit of that snack craving, you can just grab a banana, an apple, and just chomp away at it. Or maybe you assess your diet and you realize you could be eating a lot more fruits and vegetables, so you find out different ways to incorporate more veggies into each of your meals. That way you're not so much concerned and focused on not having something, because then that's all you're going to think about, and you can shift that mental energy to focusing more on the thing that you do want to have. So now let's go back to that food desert example I gave a little earlier. You have to make sure your goals are specific to you. If you don't really have a lot of healthy foods around you and you're just surrounded by junk food, you're going to want to switch up your environment. That means don't keep any snacks around. And if you don't know how to cook, hop on YouTube, type in some tutorials on boiling water and figure it out. Or I've got a whole bunch of recipes, you can check those out. If every day after work you like to stop off and get some fast food, you're probably just hungry. That's where a little bit of preemptive planning comes into play. You can carry some fruit with you, snack bars, protein powder. That way you can have that as a little snack when you're leaving work, so you're less tempted to get the junk food on your way home. All of this is really just about understanding yourself, planning ahead, and yes, there's a little more work involved, but this is what you have to do until the habit actually forms. So I think that's a good starting point for most of you. You've got some actionable steps, but let's break down some of the top New Year's resolutions and see how we could apply this framework to increase our chances of success with them. So again, Forbes came in pretty clutch here. They already put together a survey for 2024, and according to this survey, the most common New Year's resolutions, I keep saying New York, for 2024 are improved fitness, improved finances, improved mental health, to lose weight, and improved diet. So maybe I'll start a finance page one day, but for right now, I'm keeping this more around health, nutrition, and food. So let's get into that a little bit. For fitness, again, ask yourself, why do you want this? What is it about fitness that's important to you? Is it just about feeling young again? Do you want to be active? Do you want to run a marathon? Again, look good naked? And this is going to help you make some decisions on what you're likely to stick to. Maybe that'll be meeting up with people and playing a sport. Maybe you're just going to jog solo, some workout classes, or probably the number one thing that is super underrated is walking. It's already recommended to do 30 minutes of brisk walking every day, and I'm pretty sure most of us live way more sedentary lifestyles than that. So now you can set that as a goal to every day go for a 30-minute walk. Whether that be going to the park, walking to the store to pick something up, doing a few laps around your neighborhood. The reason doesn't really matter. The point is you have something that's measurable and actionable that you can start doing and you know is going to be going in the direction you want to go. As that starts to become easier, you can start to add in other things. Maybe you increase the walk, maybe you increase the difficulty, endless options. And if you're familiar with blue zones at all, one of the things they all have in common is that they walk a lot. No fancy equipment, no gyms, no sports. Just the fact that they're walking so often every day is enough to keep them in shape and outliving the rest of us. I mean, there's also food involved. Again, that's another video. So the next one, losing weight. I feel like that's often just appearance based, but we can probably break that down a little further to lower body fat, slimmer waist, your fitness level. Maybe you just want to fit into an outfit for the summer or a wedding, or just impress people around you by looking good. So we already know you have to lower your calories in order to lose weight. Now, I'm not really a fan of telling people to count calories because I feel like that again is unrealistic and just ends up having people be very hungry if they don't actually address their diet and find alternatives that are going to keep them satiated enough to maintain that caloric deficit. Again, another video, I'll break that down. But for this one, this is where the whole foods come in. If you already eat a lot of fast food, processed carbs, or maybe you just eat a lot of pasta or white rice and chicken, you can start by figuring out more ways to get more vegetables in your diet. That's going to get you way more fiber, and if you compound that with adding more protein, healthy fats, and cutting out a lot of the processed carbs, most breads, pastas, white rice, juices, you're going to start to eat a lot less calories without actually eating less food. The only problem with the processed carbs is that they don't really fill you up, and they tend to be loaded with more sugar and salt, so it's very easy to overconsume those and end up over your preferred caloric intake. Think of it this way. Let's get a cinnamon bun versus a carrot. Now, how many carrots do you think you're going to have to eat to calorically equate to that cinnamon bun? Like, you're probably going to turn beyond orange trying to eat that many carrots, and you're probably going to be full after like 4 carrots anyway. So overall plan here is to assess what you're actually already eating and then find some ways to sneak in some better alternatives. Improved diet is going to also be very similar to what I just listed before, just for slightly different reasons. I know for me, I wanted to adjust my diet because I wanted to improve my athletic performance and prevent a lot of potential diseases or illnesses as I get older. Maybe you already have a health issue or a dietary restriction, or you just heard people talking about how they feel differently depending on what they eat. So once you understand what improved means for you, then you have some metrics to start working with to figure out if you're going in the right direction. So remember, most people don't keep their New Year's resolutions, but you're not most people because you're here watching this video and ready to take action. I hope so, at least, right? I want us all to help encourage each other, so leave a comment with what your New Year's resolution is and we can strategize together, or you can just leave it up until next year so we can come back and we can like our little posts and be like, I'm still doing it, you know? So happy New Year. Make sure you hit the subscribe and notification buttons if you don't want to miss another informative breakdown on health, food, nutrition, and yeah, peace.